Hey witches, how you doing today? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Taya, and today we're going to talk about spring equinox, Ostara. We're gonna go through it all and take a look at what our traditional witches doing at this time of year. Now, before we get into it, we have a little bit of housekeeping to do. There is this sort of raging idea in the pagan community that the Christians stole Ostara and made it Easter. So even if you're not a podcast person, I need you to go and check out a podcast called HEX Positive by Bree NicGarran. You need to find her April 1st, 2022 episode. It's season 2, episode 28, called The Easter-Ostara Debacle, where Bree explores if Christians really did, in fact, steal Ostara and repackage it as Easter. Okay, I'm going to give you a little spoiler alert. They did not. And claiming so is revisionist history at best and downright anti-Semitic at worst. Now, I cannot do her argument justice. Her episode is heavily researched and it is brilliantly laid out, and I'm just going to leave it at that. But I highly suggest that you all go check out the HEX Positive podcast with Bree NicGarran, April 1st, 2022 episode. It's season 2, episode 28, called The Easter-Ostara Debacle. That is my due diligence for this episode. Okay, let's get into the fun stuff. So, what are trad witches doing at Ostara? Well, first of all, what's happening this time of year? There are all sorts of religious and cultural festivals, days, etc. happening. There is Jewish Passover. There's Christian Easter. In northern India, they are celebrating Holi, Holi, where they throw colored powder to celebrate the many colors of spring. It's a beautiful festival. In Central Asia, we have Nowruz, Norwruz, which is a day for spring cleaning, growth, and bonfires. Of course, the pagans are celebrating Ostara. Some of them call it Eostra, after the actual goddess Eostra. And those of us in the secular world are basically celebrating spring equinox, also known as the vernal equinox. Now, most trad witches I find tend to fall under the secular, where we're just, hey, it's the vernal equinox, that's what we're doing. Some who are staunch traditionalists, when you look back at traditional witchcraft sort of originates in the Western European countries, and they celebrate Lady Day. Now, Lady Day is actually the feast of the Annunciation of the Virgin Mary, which was the day that the Archangel Gabriel announced the conception and eventual birth of Jesus Christ. So, I have a traditional witchcraft Wheel of the Year book, and you celebrate Lady Day. Another cultural one that I personally celebrate is, I believe it's also on the 25th, is La Nakalyak, which is from the Scottish Highlands. It's the day of the Cailleach, or Day of the Old Woman, and it's the day when the Cailleach finally gives up her fight to keep the spring at bay, and she finally gives in and lets the spring come and lets the new agricultural season start. The equinox itself is a cross-quarter day. It is the day falling between the fire festivals of Imbolc and Beltane, or in a more, if you're more of like that kind of Christian traditional witchcraft bent, between Candlemas and May Day. So what are we celebrating on this day? We're celebrating, what themes are we working with? So we've got the balance of light and dark, because the equinox is literally the day when it is the same amount of time is spent in dark and in light. So the balance of light and dark. And going forward, the days will now be longer than the night. We are celebrating the light half of the year. We are celebrating light triumphing over dark, life conquering death. It's the beginning of a new agricultural cycle. And in some traditions, that relates to a fertility cycle. And we're celebrating newness. So we have new light, new cycles. And when we have newness, there's a lot of cleaning and cleansing to take what is old and clean it and cleanse it to make it new again. So those are kind of the themes that we're working with. So how are we actually celebrating this? Like, what are we actually doing? So first of all, there's a lot of decorating that happens this time of year, of course. So obviously decorating with bunnies and eggs, both of which are linked to fertility. And with the popular Christian influence, I mean, this time of year is all about bunnies and eggs now, right? And Easter egg hunts. We are decorating with Easter lilies, with daffodils and tulips and all of those first spring flowers. Some people have an Easter or an Ostara tree. I know I grew up having an Easter tree and I have it now, and sometimes I do like to pop it out at the equinox. Obviously, we're having egg hunts. Eggs. Speaking of eggs, it is a big time of year for taking eggs and you kind of blow out the insides. You just have the eggshell and decorating that eggshell. In the Slavic traditions, they're making pisonki eggs at this time of year, which is like a huge tradition. Well, everybody knows about that one, right? We are physically cleaning and energetically cleansing our homes and ourselves at this time of year. And that's even spread into the mundane world with this concept of like spring cleaning, right? That's everybody's spring cleaning. Brooms, speaking of cleaning, brooms are a big symbol, I guess, at this time of year. And I know in my tradition, one of the things we do is we stand the broom. So you take your broom and you stand it upright on the bristles and you balance it. It takes a lot of concentration. And it takes a lot of, concentration and just will to make it happen. You can technically do it at any time of year, but that is very popular this time of year. I know a few years back, there was a big thing going around in the mundane world, and it was all about how, like, it's magic. You can stand hello, Luna. This time of year, you can stand a broom. I mean, you could actually do it any time of the year, but that is definitely something we do, is standing the broom. We're planting our gardens and starting our seeds, right? New agricultural cycle. And a big one that I am super fond of at this time of year is making and, well, basically eating hot cross buns. Now, hot cross buns are, in more recent history, associated with Good Friday, the end of Lent, and Christians will eat them to celebrate Good Friday. The lore goes, there's a cross, right? Jesus died on the cross. There's a cross on top. And the spices that they use for the bun are the spices that they used to embalm Jesus after his death. Okay. Hot cross buns are actually older than Christianity. When I look at a hot cross bun, I see an equal arm cross. Like, there's the Christian cross where the cross is at the top, and then there's the equal arm cross on a round bun. To me, that is definitely not a Christian symbol. That is very much like a pagan, old symbol that predates Christianity. And many cultures have used this idea of a round bread with an equal arm cross on top to represent many different things. The one that's popping to my mind right now is the Egyptians used to use like a round flat bread with a cross, equal arm cross on top to represent their gods. Now, bringing up these, and a lot of this symbology is all very, and I know a lot of pagans struggle this time of year because it is very linked to Christianity. Just because popular belief says that something is Christian, do your research, right? Make your own associations, and if it speaks to you, use it in your practice. for a long time, I was like, oh, I shouldn't have hot cross buns. And then it's like, I actually sat and kind of read a little bit about it. And I went, yeah, you know what? That is an equal arm cross. And I am going to eat them because I freaking love hot cross buns. So, take it all with a grain of salt, do a little bit of research, figure it out for yourself, what's really going on and what's really important to you and how you want to celebrate. So I want to know from you, how do you celebrate this time of year? What do you call spring equinox? I know personally, I celebrate spring equinox. I celebrate Easter. It's a secular holiday, Easter, and I celebrate La Nakayak. So that's like three things for me around this time of year that are all like bunched together. But what do you call your spring equinox celebration? What do you specifically do to celebrate? Drop us a comment. I'd love to know what your traditions are. And yeah, enjoy your spring equinox, your Ostara season, whatever it is that you do. Make it a good one. All right, that's our video for today. We'll catch you in the next one. Thanks so much, guys.